Hey, my friends, it's Steve of Real Progressives. I hope you all enjoyed us on Tim Black last night. If you haven't seen it, we got the post pinned up on the page. It was a lot of fun with Tim. Tim Black, thank you. Woo! So we talked a lot about, trying to keep the progressive movement alive by bonding and building bridges together and, working to develop communities of practice and working together to, consolidate resources, because a lot of us are trying to do the same flippin' thing. And it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to recreate the wheel 40 different times so that a bunch of people with a bunch of egos can feel like they're the Miggity Mac, they're the Miggity Mac, they're the Mac, they're the Mac, here the Mac, everywhere a Mac Mac. And, I'm what I call a reluctant leader. For those people that know me, they know that it's not something that I aspired to do. It's just something that's happened, and I enjoy it. I enjoy what we do, whether it works for anybody else or not. I enjoy what we do here. And, over the course of this whole time, we've been trying to figure out a way to make, when you put in 12 to 14 to 16 hours a day in something, and, you're either obsessive compulsive or you're trying to build something, right? And, for me, this labor of love is not derived in self. It's derived in the movement. And I'm looking for you all. I'm looking at you all. And I'm saying, why is it that we have so many people out there willing to do things that literally kill our movement? Are dead in its tracks? They're ready to take us off into different directions. They want to shift our focus over here. They want to get us wrapped around the axle about some crazy freaking rat hole they want to take us down. They want to get you all excited, calling you on the phone 100 times, trying to get you wrapped into their little bullshit game. And, for a minute, you want to work with everybody, right? So you're open to this stuff because you're assuming everybody's just an honest person. Everybody's just trying to work with you straightforward. That's not the case. That's not the case. And so you got to have a discerning mind, because the concern trolls and the trolls of all varieties, they attack people the hardest when they're being the most sincere. And so, one of the people that I work with very closely, I talked with all day long today, Claudia Stauber. You all know Claudia from Cabin Talk. She's also a member of Real Progressives. And Claudia is one of my favorite friends in the entire world. And, we talk all the time. And one of the things that bonds our friendship is the fact that integrity is the most important thing. If we're wrong about something, it's not because we're wrong because we're trying to mislead you. If we say something wrong, we sit there and feel horrible about it, and we want to fix it, okay? And so between her and I, we've been getting pulled here and pulled there. People are trying to get our attention with different things. And, quite frankly, there's a lot of people that want to trip us up. They want to trip us up. They don't like what we're doing. They don't like where we're going. And it's part of the whole thing. I used to think that it was much bigger people that they focused on. I didn't think they really cared about us little people, But they start realizing that us little people have a voice. And they realize that us little people have a little bit of a following, and enough of us little people have a bunch of little followings. That's kind of like a movement, right? And so as you sit there and you watch the stuff that we do, you realize this is activism. This is a fight. This is a war. Even though I'm talking to you via a phone, this is a war. And so what happens when you're in war? We're not just playing tic-tac-toe, folks. People try to take you down. They try and send you links into your box to try and get you to click on the link to get your page to blow up. They come in there trying to get you sidetracked with some write-in for Bernie crap. Stuff that is going to destroy the country, destroy the election for Jill, make it so that we don't get to 5%. We don't get a chance to actually have a progressive president. You get all these little sidebar things where they want to take you down their own special path. Their own special thing to divert you from the mission. And the mission is revolution. The mission is this movement. And the people that are caught up in the cult of personality are really trying to take the people that are fighting hard and steer them away so that we end up steering you away and thus making this movement go bye-bye. That's what they're trying to do. I'm not even lying. I've spent the last 24 hours in virtual hell. And my phone never stopped ringing. My inbox never stopped blowing up. I had this group over here telling me about this group over here going like this. And I finally have just gone like this. I said, I know what Real Progressives is doing. I can stand by myself. I can tell you what I'm doing. You like what I'm saying? Awesome. You don't like what I'm saying? Go find one of these little ankle biter groups. Go follow their lead. Go do their conspiracies. Go play games. Play patty cake. Okay? Do whatever it is that you feel like you should do. These non-revolutionary revolutionaries. I've got to stay the course. I can't get deviated. I can't get sidetracked. All right, so my thing is going in slow motion. So give me a second. And it's frozen. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. So what I'm hoping is that, first of all, I'm hoping my feed will stop interrupting me. But I'm also hoping that you guys understand that there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise in the world. And if you guys allow yourself to get sidetracked with noise, this thing dies. It dies. You know what you're here for, right? I know what I'm here for. So Real Progressives is trying to build a business, not a business to cha-ching, typing in the cash register, bringing in the ducats. We're trying to create an organization, okay? So think about it. What is it that we are looking at? We're looking at 4 pillars. I talked about this on Tim Black last night. The 4 pillars of Real Progressives. First pillar, activism. Second pillar, education. Third pillar, media. Fourth pillar, we'll call it leadership, we'll call it politics, we'll call it whatever you want to call it. But that fourth bucket right there, we're having trouble finding a name for. But really what it's about is affecting governance today. So you figure all the other ones are leading towards a future. And then we also have to focus on today because we want to live today. We have to deal with today as well as tomorrow. So we have a 360-degree viewpoint of how we're doing it. And wouldn't you know, there's people that want to tear that down as well. There's people that don't like that because, well, maybe it sounds more, more betterer, more betterer than some other idea. Or maybe they don't like it because they just don't like me, and that's okay. I don't care. But as we try to build this out, the goal here is to impact your knowledge level, to give you the tools that it will take for you to be successful in whatever areas we select. Right now, you obviously know we'll be picking on economics. But I'm pretty sure you're going to have racial justice in there. I'm pretty sure that you're going to have environmental in there. I'm pretty sure you're going to have anti-war and peace in there. You're going to have democracy in there in terms of voting will be a big part of that. But it is also going to be really about how we can affect that, not just talk about it. So activism will drive education and vice versa. Education, once we learn more, will drive activism. Then we'll take both of those and we'll transform it into media. We'll put it out in videos. We'll put it out in written word. We'll do press conferences. We'll do marches. One of the marches that I plan to put forward, just so you all are aware, we haven't put it all together yet, but the next march that we're going to prepare for, aside from Occupy Inauguration, which is coming up, and of course our march on October 23rd with the Take Back Democracy, our next march that we're already starting to plan in the back rooms is economic justice. And we want to take it to the streets. We want to make sure that our voices are heard about the very economics I talk to you all about all the time. We would like to put together a massive march with speakers from the economic groups that I talk about, those names that you've heard. I would like to be able to get them out there, and I want to speak truth to power. I want to take our message that you've got to spend money. So for those of you who don't know this, the Federal Reserve came out and they said they're going to try and do some sort of an extreme measure to get the economy going. Because all you people that were bragging up Obama's economy, all of you failed to understand that Obama propped this economy up on private debt yet again. Austerity measures you wouldn't believe have been employed. So now, because our economy is starting to dry up, the Federal Reserve, who you guys just love to hate without knowledge, ignorance, pure ignorance, unadulterated ignorance, okay, they're trying to take monetary policy to fix the economy. That's like pushing a string up a hill. That's like pushing a string up a frickin' hill. But you go ahead and hate on the people that aren't the ones in charge of spending. That would be Congress. So our goal is to take these pillars and to wrap this whole thing around, affect it in activism, affect it in education, affect it in media, and affect it directly to the powers that be, and make them act. Make them act. Help write legislation, whatever it takes, by any means necessary. And that will go for every one of the issue areas. So remember, we got 4 pillars, and then our issue areas will go across like this. And then we'll have a subject matter expert for each one of those areas. And we will take those issues to the streets. So I'm very, very excited. But you've got to realize there are lots of people that want to make us trip and stumble. There are lots of people that want to co-opt us and want to shove us off into some bullshit movement that is just angry and all they don't know what they're talking about. I'm talking about focused knowledge bearing. I'm talking about introducing brain power to the populace. I'm talking about changing the way we look at society, changing the methods by which we approach these things, changing paradigms, changing hearts and minds. Now, unfortunately, because we're up against this stuff and we're up against so many things, both internally and externally, there's demons everywhere. You get the case of the feels. You know the feels, right? Where you start doing stupid shit because you feel weird, you feel bad, your feels didn't get felt right. You make these stupid comments, you do these stupid things that hurt the movement or hurt the organization. You got to run off at the mouth. You got to yap, yap, yap. You got to talk, you got to talk, you got to talk. Loose lips sink ships. You know? When you see this, you see it all over the place. People talking all over the place. Just talk, 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 talk. And there's a lot less do. And this is what I was trying to get at with Tim, is there's a lot of show ponies out there. There's a lot of people that want to kind of play the role. It's like Dale Earnhardt Jr., right? I'm not a race car driver, but I play one on TV. Yeah, sorry, there was a NASCAR joke for you rednecks out there. Anyway, my goal here is to eliminate the flim-flam. There's no fluff. I don't want fluff. I don't want any bullshit. I got like a 0 tolerance for bullshit. And so as we build out this organization, you know, we are going to get blocked every which way to Sunday. I'm telling you right now, anything worth doing is going to be a son of a bitch to do. It's going to be a son of a bitch. Trust me. And I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is when you see people out there that allow you to get torn down for no good reason. When you allow chatter, when you allow bullshit to deflect and to redirect your actions, there is so much work to be done. If you think about this, just to take and get a frickin' ice cream stand or a lemonade stand in your front yard properly set up, there's a whole set of steps you got to go through, right? You have a great idea. You got to get your supplies. You got to get your business licenses, whatever it is. You got to do all these things to get there. And that takes a lot of frickin' work. And so if you didn't have to deal with any noise and all you had to do was focus on getting the work done, just go zero focus, man, straight on, it would be a piece of cake. But this is once again why the progressive movement constantly marches in place. We have the best ideas on the planet. Every one of us does. Even the people that aren't doing it right, they have the best ideas on the planet because progressivism is where it's at. And progressivism isn't just some nebulous term. There are some serious things that you can kind of put right into a bucket and you know the script. We have a very defined goals of what we want to do. The problem is you want economic justice, right? We all talk about economic justice. But if you're sitting there spouting off on things that are not actionable, think about this. If you can't actually take action on something and you keep derailing conversations with bullshit, when you start bringing up nonsense about the Rothschilds, tell me what you can do about the Rothschilds. Nothing? Okay, then shut the fuck up. Okay? The idea here is, what can you take action on today? And that is the whole focus of everything that we are going to do going forward. So, for me, I titled this thing, when you want something you want so badly and bullshit derails you, trust me, the struggle is real. The struggle is fucking real, man. It's real. Go full Unabomber there. The struggle is real. And one of the things that kind of jumps out at me is that as I talk to all the different people that I trust, keyword that I trust, and I'll keep them in my back pocket. There's no need to tell you who I trust and who I don't trust, but the people who I do trust, they're all going through the exact same thing. Every last one of them. No joke. There are people out there that would love to derail every single thing that not just real progressives wants to do, but the whole movement wants to do. James, should be considered a compliment. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm just messing around, James. Don't worry, buddy. But anyway, so the idea here is that when you sit there and you go beyond Facebook, because let's be fair, this is a bullshit medium, right? It sucks. The live streaming sucks. The friggin' reach sucks. We've got 87,000 people and we've got 68 actually watching. Think about that, right? So it's kind of hilarious when you think about what a bogus medium Facebook has become with their whole throttling and the way they play their algorithm games. But as we sit there and look at what it takes to put, just for example, if you looked at all the steps it takes to get a march together, getting the permits, getting porta potties, getting EMS, getting speakers lined up, getting musical talent lined up, finding ways to bus people in that need to get in there, travel arrangements, and so forth. It's an incredible undertaking. And there's not a lot of blueprints out there. I mean, there's some rules and guidelines that you can kind of follow, but there's an awful lot of feels that go into it. And everybody wants to be felt. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to have, their voice elevated. And at the end of the day, it's not just the march. It is everything. It's this entire movement. It's got to be about the movement. It has got to be about the movement. It can't be, bonus hunting. It can't be glory finding. It can't be any of that shit. It has got to be focused, straight up attention on the issues. Because think about this. If you get sidled up with politicians, when they're wrong, you got to carry their water. If you stick with the issues, you can punch any one of them in the mouth. Every single one of them. You can punch Obama with impunity. You can punch Trump if you want. You can punch Bernie if you want. You can punch any single person that flubs up and takes you in the wrong direction. But the minute you suck into politicians, the minute you start going that route, you lose the ability to be objective. You lose the ability to hold their feet to the fire. Because all of a sudden you see the worthless ones. Now let's be fair, they are pretty worthless. Using the term bashing, Takes a pretty shitty, stupid person to use the word bashing, but they do it. It's a way of stifling dissent. It's a way of stifling truth. I don't give a crap about any politician. I loved Bernie's stances and I fought for Bernie, but I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, I care about the issues. I care about the movement. And as long as people stay true to the movement, I'm going to fight tooth and nail for it. The minute they step out of line, I'll be there to say something about it. And it's got to be that way, or you're going to end up back in the duopoly dealing with the same vote blue nonsense that you've dealt with for the last million years. You will never see change if you don't divorce yourself from the cult of personality. If you don't stop suckling up to specific politicians and falling in love with them. It's okay to support them. Support them when they're right. But you've got to retain your independence so that you can actually criticize them when they're wrong. And that's what's happening now. You get people trying to stifle dissent, stifle the discussion, because it hurts their feels when you criticize Bernie, or when you criticize Hillary, or when you criticize Jill. Let's be fair, Jill's not walking on water. She can't moonwalk across the Atlantic. Jill Stein makes mistakes too, and I'm there. If she starts screwing up, I'll say something about Jill too. So it's very important that we retain our independence and build for the future. And the future is not in any one politician. Think about this. I also talked about this last night with Tim. When the civil rights movement, was following MLK, when MLK got taken out, do you just stop? Do you just give up and say, well, shit, they're often friggin' people. They're often Malcolm. They're often King. What else? So let's just be good little boys and get back on the plantation and not do anything. That's what they want. And what they've done is they pushed the plantation out from the South, and they've made it universal now. We're all stuck in a plantation, and we're all sitting there justifying it because we're just comfortable enough to not feel ourselves boiling in the pot. And so as you start building this movement and you're trying to build an organization and you're trying to exact change, not just any kind of change, but change, knowledgeable, action-based, education-based, media-based, political-based change, you're going to have a lot of haters and they're going to try and take you down. So for those of you who help us out and who understand our mission and who are not wrapped around the axle about specific politicians, and you allow us to do our job to elevate and criticize where we need to, thank you. For those of you who use the term bashing, shame on you. You're no revolutionary. You're a wuss. You're a wuss. The word bash is silly. It's stupid. Don't ever use that word again. It's embarrassing. Seriously. I hear that and I just go, worthless. I'm serious. I mean, I may like you, but your attitude, if you use the word bashing, annoys me to no end. Makes me sick in my stomach. I have no respect for the word bashing, and I have no respect for those people who choose to use that word when people are dissenting. Dissent is a key part of revolution. You do realize that, right? Revolution, yeah, revolution. But don't bash Bernie. Revolution, but don't bash him. You're criticizing him. It's making my head explode. Come on. To build for the future, you've got to build based on the issues. The people, those leaders, thank you when you're right. But when you're wrong, I'm criticizing the living shit out of you. And I'm not holding back. Not for you, not for you, not for you, not for you, and not for you. Maybe for you over there. But I'm not going to withhold my bashing when it's appropriate. And our organization is going to call a spade a spade. You're going to be able to trust what I say. You may not like it. You may hate it. But my integrity will never be in doubt. Because I'm going to stand true and I'm going to tell you the straight dope. Again, you don't have to like it, but you'll never, ever, ever be able to say I don't have integrity. And that's the most important thing. And that's what real progressives is all about. And that's what being a progressive, to me, is all about. Building something with integrity so that you know why you're saying no to something. And you know why you're saying yes to something. And you take the time to think through what's going on. And you don't just jump. You take the time so that you can win the war. Not just a couple pitched battles, but the war. And for those of you who understand what I'm saying, I thank you. For those of you who don't, I want you to learn. For those of you who just flat out don't care, sorry. We need to build a sustainable revolution. And it's going to be a slow pitch softball game. It's not going to be, some quick, fast game. This is going to take full 9 innings and maybe extras. And so if you're looking for immediate gratification and that causes you to stumble and that causes us to lose our effectiveness because you're always looking for instant gratification, grow up, Peter Pan, Count Chocula. It's time to put on your big boy pants, put on your big girl pants, and stop using the word bashing and start fighting the revolution. Personalities, not revolutionary. Issues and movements, revolutionary. People, personalities, not revolutionary. The word bashing, definitely not revolutionary. Definitely the antithesis of revolutionary. The epitome of worthlessness. Calling a spade, folks. Bashing is just the stupidest word on the planet. And it wrecks progress. These are the things they throw at you. The distractions. Stop bashing. Oh, shit, we got to stop doing that. They're going to get upset. Oh, no. Ohs, no. They're going to get upset if I bash. Truth is not bashing. And if you have a problem with truth, you can file away and just put away your revolutionary stuff. You put away your big signs, put away your, war paint and everything else you put out there. If you use the term bashing, you're not a revolutionary. You're a faux-gressive. You're a fake. You're a fraud. Stop derailing the movement. The movement requires truth. And it needs an honest assessment so that when we do make change and we do push for things, that we're pushing for the right things. Look at the idiots that protected Obama all this time. You know any of them? I wonder if there's anybody in this crowd that protected Obama. I did for a while. I'm admitting it. Because he was better than the other guy. Right? He was better than the other guy. So can't say anything bad about Obama. Now he's blowing up the world. Reagan, for all the hate for Reagan, never did any of this shit comparatively. Reagan was like the JV of screwing the country compared to what's going on today. Reagan was like a novice screwer of the country. You hadn't seen nothing yet until you've seen the recent Democrats. Straight up. I mean, Obama, more stately, has a better jump shot, has a little bit more swagger, hangs out with some cooler R&B artists. But he's worse than Bush, trust me, on many, many issues. So this is the stuff that you need to tell the truth on. People are still defending Bill Clinton for his surpluses. There is no such thing as a surplus, folks. Taxes are deleted. So there wasn't any money sitting there waiting to be spent on the poor. That money is purged from the system. But you still defend Clinton. Well, Clinton ran the greatest economy ever. Just spectacular. Splendid, in fact. Splendid. Out of the ignorance of your heart, you'll still say that. But this is the way we defend our politicians when we get wrapped up in the cult of personality. And this is what the Hillbots are doing today. They're defending her even with all the WikiLeaks. all the WikiLeaks, they're still defending her. And let me tell you something. The WikiLeaks could literally bring our government to its knees right now because our government is that corrupt. It's that corrupt. But people still defend the Democratic Party because of fear of Trump. As opposed to criticizing the wrong and the evil, they sit there and make excuses for it. Do you see why "Don't bash Bernie" is so fucked up? Do you see why that mindset is just pure stupidity? Don't bash Obama. You just hate Obama. You just hate Hillary. You're a misogynist. See how it works over and over again. Why are you hating on Bill Clinton? Every girl he did was somebody that consented to it. There's only one that didn't consent. Always defending the politician. Never standing for the movement. They don't even know what they're fighting for. They just know they're voting for blue. Any blue will do. And this is the stuff that derails building a movement, derails building an organization. Ignorance, stupidity, a lack of intellectual honesty, the lack of willingness to dig past the surface and take a step back and assess what all this information means. So, I want this thing really badly. I mean, I'm here all the time, right? Round the clock. And yet there are people that are Johnny-come-latelys, that are ladder climbers, that are, wrapped up in the cult of personality, that are playing revolutionary, whatever, that would flat out in a New York second derail this movement. This whole write-in Bernie thing, a complete and utter shiny object that has nothing to do with the future. It has a shelf life, folks. It stops. It's like there is no future to it. At least with the Green Party, you get someone to challenge the establishment in 2020 if we can't get her into office. You don't get that with a write-in for Bernie. You just derail the one thing that could help us in 2020. Again, the very epitome of worthlessness. It's not revolutionary. It's not revolutionary at all. It is zero revolution. And it is movement killing. You don't like that? I'm sorry. It's the truth. It's not even an opinion. If Bernie will not get, he's not, it's not happening. It's not even real. It's a bunch of bullshit. And yet, the one thing that we can empirically state is that if we have a third party that's getting federal matching funds early on from this past election, and we can start that process today, that we have a chance to actually fight the incumbent. If you get Donald Trump, you know you only have 4 years to worry. We will win, we'll knock him out, and you get a chance in 2020. But if Hillary gets in there, you know the worthless vote blue sycophants will give her 2 terms. They won't fight with us. They won't help us. They're going to side up with her, and they're going to make excuses for every single thing she does. So our movement will be split in half. Again, wrecking it all one more time. Well played, knuckleheads. Well played. You got to ask yourself, what the hell are you fighting for? Do you want it? Do you even want this? Or you just like playing renegade? Do you like just the title revolutionary? Does that feel good? You got some shirts made? Got a hat? Your special hat that says I'm a revolutionary? Your little banner that you hold up? Yeah, revolution with a fist in it. You know what that fist is for? Anybody know what that fist is for? Solidarity. Solidarity in taking on the frickin' establishment. You put that fist up, you better mean it. Don't put that fist up if you're a progressive. We don't need you lying to us and pulling us astray. The fist is for solidarity, folks. It's for real revolution. And that's why in our logo, it's always been about the fist, folks, because we are all about taking on the establishment and really doing it. Not just some random establishment, not some weird nebulous establishment, but literally the 4 pillars that we talked about, taking on the establishment with a very, very, very focused approach to this. We've got to stick together and we've got to mean it, or this thing goes nowhere. And I am so grateful. Let me finish this off by saying I am so grateful to Tim Black and his team. And you know who I am. You know who I'm talking to, team. This is a shout out to you. Thank you guys so much for partnering with Real Progressives. And thank you so much for being committed to the cause. And I want to really thank my team. And in particular, I want to thank Claudia for taking the time to talk with me and commiserating and working through our own issues and really, really striving to keep integrity number one. If you all don't know how hard it is when you've got people going, don't bash Bernie or don't do this, and you just come out here and you want to fight the good fight. And you want to talk truth, not bullshit. And when people try to derail you with bullshit, it's very, very difficult. But you know what? I got a great support staff, folks. A great team of friends that hold me accountable, and I hold them accountable. And as a team, as Real Progressives, we are going to change the world with your help. This is Steve with Real Progressives, thanking you guys for riding with me, candlelight, one more night. Have a great weekend.